Hello everyone, my name is Catherine. I am a biomedical engineering major, second year at the University of Cincinnati.
Hi, I'm Callie. I'm also a second year biomedical engineering major at the University of Cincinnati.
Hello, I'm Sarah, and I'm a fourth year biomedical engineering student at the University of Cincinnati.
All three of us are going to be your external outreach co-chairs and officers this year, which means we are in charge of bringing you guys different events and different ways to get connected with UC and especially UC SWE. So because of COVID and the uncertainty of reaching out to you guys and coming to visit, we are going to be publishing these podcasts either once a month or once every few weeks to help you guys understand more about what it's like to be a woman in engineering at UC and anything that goes into the college process.
So we're definitely going to be covering a lot of different concepts over this semester and next semester, such as being a female in engineering, give perspective about just your college experience, and help you learn about all the different disciplines that are available at UC. Please, if you have any questions, send them in to the email on the screen now. We would love to answer them. In each of our coming podcasts, we will make sure to have a Q&A answer segment to answering your questions that you guys send in. So the Society of Women Engineers, also known as SWE, is a nonprofit education and service organization that works to empower women in STEM and engineering fields. A lot of the things that we provide to different college students at the University of Cincinnati are opportunities to meet other female students, whether it be in your major, in a different year, or in a different major altogether. We also have events such as Banquet at the end of the year where you are able to network with different companies and meet lots of different people at the University of Cincinnati. There are various conferences that happen throughout the year where students are able to go meet other collegiate members and meet different international companies or national companies. And finally, we just have general body meetings, usually bi-weekly, that allow different students to interact with one another and interact with any companies that come in to sponsor and to talk to those students who are there.
So UC is located in Cincinnati, in the Clifton area, and it's really close to downtown Cincinnati. So there's a lot of things around it. Campus, there's a lot of modern elements, while there's still a lot of traditional that shows the age of the college. There's also a lot of green space that's available for students to study and hang out. There's a ton of sports located in Cincinnati and on UC specifically, so the football games are a big draw. And then there's FC Cincinnati plays at the stadium sometimes, which is cool. And then there's also a bunch of baseball, soccer, lacrosse games that are free, or the tickets are really cheap for students, so that's a fun thing to get involved in. And then there's a ton of clubs within UC, and specifically within the College of Engineering there's a lot. So some of those clubs include car building, and racing. They actually race the cars that they build. Rocket Team, Makers Club, Innovation Committee, Enable UC. And then all of the majors within the College of Engineering usually have their own society. So there's the Biomedical Engineering Society, Civil Engineering Society. And then one fun club that isn't part of the engineering college is the Waffle House Club. There's a ton of restaurants and places to get food around campus that are close by in walking distance. And then since it is located close to downtown, there's also a bunch of places down there.
So whenever you feel like you need a break from studying, always heading downtown is a great option. There's so many different things. Like Sarah mentioned, there's a lot of parks. There's also 2 professional sports teams that play downtown on the banks, the Reds and the Bengals. If you're interested in baseball and football, they're really fun. There's also a hockey team that plays downtown. They're like a affiliate team, and I know they have really cheap tickets, and they sometimes have really cheap dollar hamburger nights and stuff like that. There's also a lot of different things to do, different parks, a lot of places to get involved, either on campus or off campus. There's lots of ways to stay active. You can go to the rec center, you can play an intramural sport. There's lots of different things you can do. And especially if you're interested in engineering, there is a special learning community that you can join called the Engineering Living Learning Community, or the ELLC, where you live with students who are all first-year engineers, and your RA on your floor is an older engineer. and you guys basically just live near each other, and you can kind of walk down the hall and ask questions to your roommates and your floor mates, and it's a really great resource to build a great community in your first year. So our main focus of this week's podcast is applying to college. School's starting soon, the Common App opens soon. We want to give you guys some of our experiences and some tips to kind of make the college application process easier. So one of the big things you can do is to start early. The earlier you start, the better. The more time, it gives you more time to, if you have an issue with something, you can get it resolved instead of doing it the night before your application's due. So when you're looking for a college, you want to make sure that you make a list and that you're very thorough in what you want.
So some of the things that you should be asking yourself are, do you want to be near a city? Does proximity to home matter to you? If you're from the Midwest, honestly, some of the best engineering schools in the nation are right here, so you don't have to travel all the way to the East or West Coast to find them. Does the college have to have a specific major for you, or are you open to a bunch of different options? Finally, does the size of the university really matter to you? There is a big difference between a university that is the size of Cincinnati versus Xavier, which is like 10 minutes away, but their student body size is so different.
So definitely don't be afraid, though, to apply to the big schools and the small schools. Honestly, the best way to realize what college is for you is to tour. So whenever you're in a city or, just kind of stopping by, even just walk around campus for a few minutes and see if you like it, because as cliche as it sounds, you will know where you're meant to be when you step on campus. I applied to 10 plus colleges, and I kept coming back to UC, and I was like, oh, well, UC has this school doesn't. And I really felt that UC was the place where I was meant to be, and it's going great so far.
And then one piece of advice I would say is to talk to as many people as you can about just college in general, and then the majors you're looking into. Talking to people in the grades above you, who you might have known from high school, family and friends, just hearing other people's experiences really help. And even if you don't know people from the major you're looking into, reaching out to people from the college, they'll put you in touch with people. And I know the reason I ended up choosing UC was because I talked to a girl that was in engineering, and just hearing her experience and how well it was really sealed the deal for me. Each podcast, we're going to focus on a different major, and since we're all biomedical engineering majors, we figured we'd start out with that one. But if you have any specific majors within engineering that you're excited to hear about, feel free to let us know. So a little bit about biomedical engineering in general. It's a really cool and newer field of engineering, and it blends electrical, mechanical, and also biological applications. And there's a lot of interdisciplinary work that's done within the field and within the major itself. In your coursework, this interdisciplinary work will also be reflected within the different types of classes you take.
Kind of building off of that, there are obviously the more engineering-focused classes, such as our engineering principles class. You'll learn about physics, you'll learn about statics and dynamics, you'll learn about circuits, but then also you'll learn about things such as general chemistry. You'll go through bio, you'll go through anatomy. You'll kind of get a good range of all the different courses that are kind of considered stereotypical of STEM.
Within some of the classes you'll choose to take will determine what track you'll go down. And there's two tracks that are the med device design track and the research track. These tracks really just define some of the different classes you'll take. So if you have more of an inclination towards like the mechanical side, you might want to focus on med device design, whereas if you have more of an interest in kind of clinical research and like doing bench lab research, then you might go down the research track, but you can honestly choose whatever track you want, and there's no really limitations within either of the tracks.
So with the two different tracks, there are a lot of different job opportunities. So you can kind of go work in biotechnology and develop medical devices and work in analyzing them. You could go sell the products. You could do a lot of different things. You could do risk management. There's so many different opportunities within the med device world. There's also a lot with research. You can be like a research assistant. You can run your own lab. You could get your PhD. There's so many different opportunities, with BME being so interdisciplinary. There are so many different job opportunities for you to explore. You could, the engineering degree really can get you anywhere. You can work straight up as an engineer. You could work as a doctor. You could work as a professor. You could work on a construction site. There are so many different things that you can do with your engineering degree. And with our unique co-op program here at UC, you're able to kind of get job experience while you're in class. So you can go work at, say, a small startup, or you could go work at a Fortune 500 company. You can do whatever you want. And with that concludes this month's podcast. Thank you guys so much for listening. We really appreciate it. We will be uploading a podcast roughly every month, so make sure to check back on the first of each month, and we will have some new content for you guys.
Yeah, and if you guys have any questions, feel free to email them in. We'd love to answer them and answer your specific questions.
Social medias are on the screen now, so feel free to follow us. We'd love to connect with you, get to know you. If you decide you don't want to email us questions, you can DM us on Instagram. We'd love to talk to you guys there. Thank you again so much for watching and listening in. This is Catherine.
This is Callie.
And Sarah.
And we'll see you next time.